Welcome back into another segment of This Week in Baseball History, brought to you by Rounding Third Baseball. It's got Nick and Harrison. So here we go. We're going to run down the week of May 4th through May 10th. May 4th, 2011. Tim Lincecum strikes out 12 batters in 7 innings for his 29th double-digit strikeout game of his career. It's relevant because he passes Christy Mathewson, who we all know who Christy Mathewson is, who held the franchise record previously. This guy, for such a unfortunately short stretch of time, was so dominant.
Yeah, I mean, he was unbelievable to watch. He got so much out of that little frame in terms of velocity. He had such great control, such good off speed. He was definitely one of the best pitchers of that generation. And if you had seen a longer career from him, he was going to be a sure bet Hall of Famer, maybe even in the conversation as one of the better pitchers of all time.
And he was must see TV every time he was on. He was incredible.
He had that kind of quirky delivery right up over the top, and just it's a shame that his body couldn't hold up. But similar to a guy like Jacob deGrom, he probably just did too much for what his body could actually handle.
Yeah. All right, May 5th, 1978, Pete Rose collects his 3,000th hit in his career. He would only go on to hit another 1,256 hits for the rest of his career. Should be in the Hall of Fame, but that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, it's funny to think that the 3,000th hit of his career was kind of like he's only going to have another 1,256. So it's kind of like a small milestone in his career, but that's a massive milestone for anybody else. And
Right.
yes, for sure, should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and I mean, there's major leaguers that would die to have 1,256 hits in their career, let alone have them on top of 3,000 hits already. It's crazy.
It boggles my mind that somebody can accumulate that many hits in a career.
Yeah. All right, May 6, 1998, Kerry Wood ties a major league record by striking out 20 Astros. One of the most dominant games you'll ever see.
Yep, I can still picture in my brain whether you call it a slider or a slurve or whatever pitch he threw at that 3/4 angle, and he snapped off this vicious one to get the final strike out of that outing, and it just wasn't right. The guy he threw high velocity, disgusting breaking stuff. Again, another guy who would have, without injury problems, would have been an absolute elite end pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, that whole Astros lineup, like you go back and watch the clips of just the 20 Ks, and they're just flailing. They have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Derek Bell he struck out on the one that I'm thinking of, and he just kind of like slapped at it, but there was no attempt. There's no way he was making contact. It wasn't even close.
No. I just can't imagine ever being like that in the zone that everyone's missing your pitches by a foot. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't close.
No.
He made a bunch of professional hitters look really foolish.
Yeah. May 7th, 2009. Most likely first ballot Hall of Fame, Manny Ramirez immediately loses that distinction as he tests positive for PEDs and suspended 50 games. Manny being Manny.
Just such a tragedy, such a tragic end to his career because, as a Red Sox fan, I watched him for years. I don't believe he was on PEDs throughout his career. I believe this was him trying to extend his career in the later years. But clearly, I would say the best right-handed hitter of that generation. Just an absolute machine. So important to those Red Sox teams, and to see his career fizzle out like it did and then have this on top of it, it was a tragic ending to what was otherwise a Hall of Fame worthy story.
Yeah, you don't talk about right-handed swings being pretty, right? Usually it's always the lefties, right? It's the Griffeys, it's all those guys, right? The lefties have the pure swing. He has, I think, personally, the best right-handed swing I've ever seen.
Totally agree.
Just pure, smooth, insane. But yeah,
there was no way to get him out, and he could do kind of whatever he wanted. He could go opposite field. He could pull it. You needed the sac fly. He could hit you one. He could do a lot of things and a lot of things really well. And he was in total control of every at bat.
Yeah. May 8th, 1926, a little bit before our time, but they had a 3-alarm fire, burns down Fenway Park's grandstand roof and left field bleachers. So kind of a big moment in Red Sox history there.
Yeah, that ballpark, being as old as it is, has seen a lot of history, good and bad.
Yeah.
Plenty of both.
Yeah. Mostly bad in the history of the Red Sox, but
yeah.
again, a story for another day. May 9th, 1987, Eddie Murray becomes the first player in MLB history to homer from both sides of the plate in 2 consecutive games. Crazy.
It is crazy. And where Eddie Murray's career was winding down as I started to follow baseball, I do feel like I never fully appreciated Eddie Murray for what he was, because I didn't get to see the peak of his career. But when you go back and look at what he did, it's astonishing what that man accomplished in his career.
Yeah, I mean, he's top 2 switch hitters of all time. I'd put Chipper Jones up there for being a complete hitter, power, 3,000 hits. I don't know if Jones got 3,000 hits, but either way, I mean, 2 of the best switch hitters of all time. Absolutely insane. To do it in 2 consecutive games is wild.
Yeah, impressive, very impressive. And a guy that I never fully appreciated until I actually took a look through the history of what he did and was blown away.
Yeah. And finally, May 10th, 2015, Felix Hernandez becomes the 4th youngest player to reach 2,000 strikeout mark at 29 years old. Absolute wasted career in Seattle.
Probably a bigger tragedy than the Manny Ramirez situation is the wasting of Felix Hernandez's career. He had one of the best arms in baseball, some of the best stuff, some of the best numbers. But he had a bullpen behind him that couldn't keep leads. He lost a ton of wins because of it. The team was never really competitive in the time that he was there. It's a shame. He was the pitcher version of Mike Trout. Clearly one of the best guys in the league who liked where he was and wasn't going to leave. And because of it, he didn't reach some of the marks I'm sure he hoped to. He should have been a Hall of Famer. There's a lot of wins he lost along the way. There's a lot of opportunities he should have gotten that he didn't. And then the career kind of ran a little short. But another guy like Lincecum who was must-see TV. When Hernandez was pitching, you stopped what you were doing and watched.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a no-hitter, a 4 strikeout inning, an immaculate inning in there. I mean, like that, the accomplishments just keep going and going and going, except for the wins, like you said.
Right. Yeah, except for the wins and playoff appearances. And I used to love he and Beltre had that back and forth for a long time. He was a character out there. He was fun. He was energy. Mariners fans will forever love him like a son. Just didn't get a chance to see what he really could do.
Yeah. So that does it for this week in baseball for May 4th through May 10th. We'll be back on next week with another week of baseball history.
Yeah. If you're enjoying the videos, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share it out. Sharing is caring. See y'all around.